Do this, man. I'm not as strong as you. Please don't make me do this. Please. So this took place several years ago. I was around 13 at the time, and I'm in the car with my brother and my parents. So we're driving up the road, and my dad looks over on the other side of the road and sees this river. You know, that river looks exactly like the one in our backyard. Hmm. Okay. So he makes a U-turn and he pulls over on the other side of the road. And I'm thinking this is a little much for a river that looks familiar. So we all get out the car and we're trying to admire this nostalgic river. Looking at the hill and it's kind of steep, it's a steep hill. You know what? Let's take a closer look. Yeah, here's the thing. I just want to go eat right now. So let's adventure and risk our lives a little bit later. When we're all full and digested. Let's do that instead. And my mom is completely keeping her distance because she knew better, and she just has that black woman mentality. Like anything that has to deal with water is completely off limits. So we're all walking down the hill, my family, and I'm noticing as the further we got, the harder it was to balance. It was like the fourth dimension. So as we got closer, my dad starts taking pictures and recording, and he starts walking on some of the rocks, that are popping out in the river. And instantly, I knew that this man wanted us to follow him. Why? Because that's what dads do. They force their sons to overcome their fears by constantly testing them. My older brother goes first, and he makes it to the rock next to my dad. And then it's my turn. Take my first step on the rock. Great. So my dad and I are admiring this old grade one of a river at this point. And then after 10 minutes, alright, I've seen enough. Time to go back, kids. My dad goes first, and he takes a step, and he makes it back to land. Excellent. Then my brother goes, and he takes his first step, but it's hesitant. So like in mid step, he kind of just freezes, and then all of a sudden he slips into the water. Both of his legs now are in the water. He is dying. I am dying. I'm frozen, standing on this little itty bitty rock, trying not to cry. But my brother manages to climb out, and now it's my turn to come back. Guys, I'm just gonna chill with the wildlife. So I'm frozen, and my dad could tell that I was frozen, and he instantly goes into protective mode. Son, you can do this. It's just 3 rocks. You got this. So I believe in my heart, and I trust in my dad that I can conquer these 3 rocks in front of me. And I'm gonna step on every last one of them to reach the promised land. But how was I going to do that? These rocks were disproportionately aligned. Here we go. Take my first step. Cool. Take my second step. Excellent. On my third step, my first foot got there, but then my second foot was just swinging around, almost as if it didn't even want to be beside my left leg. And at this point, I'm seconds from falling into this treacherous river. But then, when all hope seemed lost, my dad reaches out his hand, grabs my arm, and reels me in back to the promised land. Thank you. Thank you. I like to take this time to dedicate this award to my children, my wife, for greatest dad in the world. Thank you. Thank you all. I really, it was nothing. I just used my inner power to rescue my son. I made it to the promised land while overcoming my fears of the water. The only person that was completely dry was my mom, and she was just looking at us in total, complete shame. But yet, still thought the whole thing was she thought it was funny. So we take off our shoes before we get in the car because, they're wet. And we drive off, and I look back, and I'm like, oh, the river's gone. Never again do we have to endeavor on this treacherous journey. See, a lot of times our fears look like these mass mountains we make them out to be, but once we surpass them, we find out that they weren't all that bad to begin with. So if you have a fear that trembles you and makes you hesitant, two things are going to happen. Either that fear is going to make you or break you. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment down below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Dream King Squad for future videos.